You're listening to the Life in General podcast with Tom and Jaye. An hour of informative commentary on today's headlines, current events, and what's going on around the world and around the corner. And now, here are your hosts, Tom and Jaye Darden.
Hey everybody, welcome. Hope you all are doing great out there. This is episode 26 of Life in General podcast with Tom and Jaye. I'll have to do some editing magic there to make sure I say the right thing because your boy is a little under the weather. I'm sure you guys can hear it in my voice and in my very awkward demeanor as I stumble through this. It should be a fun time. We're going to start this episode like we do every single one and ask the man of the hour how he is down there in beautiful Ecuador and see what's going on. So, hey, Dad, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing very good. Not much going on here. Another balmy 75-degree day with, we had sunshine today, most of the day, almost about 10 hours out of the 12 that it's up. So it was good. It's very good.
Life is good.
So,
That should
yes, it
be
is.
A t-shirt that you wear all the time.
Yeah, life is good. Life is good.
Most certainly. Well, we have several topics here to cover today with you guys. Thank you all so much for being a part of this, these crazy shenanigans with us. We really appreciate your time and attention out there. Our 25 subs, we love you. And make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you tell all your friends if you want them to be tortured as well with our lovely banter back and forth, and keep us in your thoughts and prayers when you're like, who do I need to listen to relax on the way home from your awesome job that we get to do here. And
yeah, if we can't put you to sleep, nobody can, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Just watch out for the the Sam Kinison episodes where he's yelling at Rodney Dangerfield to say it. So yeah, just watch out. The ASMR is not strong with us. That's for dang sure. So the first thing that you wanted to talk about today there was DOD, which I'm assuming is the Department of Defense. Did I?
Yes.
Okay. And the Pentagon. You're painting with a very broad brush there. What did you want to talk about with when it comes to those two amazing entities in the United States government?
They're not amazing. They're all out in left field with no glove and their shoes untied. But what I wanted to talk about was the Navy SEAL vaccine mandate. Okay, you've put a vaccine mandate on active Navy SEALs. Okay, some of them have applied for a religious exemption, but nobody has been given any exemptions, not medical or religious, by this administration at all so far. Nope. That anybody knows of. There's no.
You mean for the vaccines? You mean
for the vaccine? Yeah, an exemption for the vaccine.
So really quick, do you know what the religious or other kind of exemptions, what they would normally do? Like, let's say I'm Jewish, and I am not going to eat the ham sandwich MRE that they provide for us. Is there something like dietary restrictions? When it comes to, I know, or at least if I'm remembering correctly, like Jehovah's Witnesses, they can't have blood transfusions, stuff like that. Do you know what the other exemptions like would normally get you in those branches of the military?
I do not. I do not. This is just this is a story that I saw, and I saw it, and I kind of dug into it a little bit because they were threatening and harassing and intimidating the active Navy SEALs. You know, you're going to serve your faith or you're going to serve your country. Well, first of all, the First Amendment, it has religious freedom in it. So you're violating their First Amendment rights. Well, then they're talking about the Navy is talking about kicking them out. And if we kick you out or take you off of active status, then your family members can't travel. So there won't be any going home for Thanksgiving. There won't be any going home for Christmas. And they're just being just outright mean to these guys and girls, the men and women that are Navy SEALs. The people can kill you just like that. Are these really people that you would like to mess with? I mean, think about it. You've got contractors.
Well, they're not going to kill the people in power, right? Because if they do, their life is over.
They can kill you and you wouldn't know it. They can kill you from a distance. That's what they're trained to do. So you've got people, retired SEALs and operators and contractors that are getting the people out of Afghanistan now because Slow Joe won't do it. The United States won't do it. No, the Secretary of State won't do it. So you've got private entities going in and getting people out. These people, they have vast resources and they have vast weaponry. Are you doing this to the Army Rangers? Are you doing this to the Green Berets? Are you doing this to all special forces?
Cue up the A-Team theme song. Like if you have an issue and you need somebody with special abilities, but you don't know how to find them, look up the A-Team.
Yeah.
That's what your people with resources and skills and retired military and all that, which is that what it's going to come down to? Is
you can look at the Pineapple Express. We've talked about it before. That's the group of people that went in and got people out of Afghanistan. I think they're still doing it. They're still doing it.
When you said the Pineapple Express, I thought you meant the movie about drugs.
No. Well, they based on getting these people out on some previous, I think it was a previously way they smuggled people out of a country or something.
Gotcha.
But if you don't get the vaccine mandate, they're even talking about if we kick you out or put you on an inactive status, we're going to make you pay for the money that we spent training you, which can be upwards of $2 million per SEAL.
Okay. Wow.
They're going to come after you to repay that because you won't get a vaccine. What happened to my body, my choice? Let me ask you, what happened to my body, my choice?
Okay.
Well, look, here it comes.
Okay. My body, my choice. We can get to that in just a second because that's a very good point. And that does make a whole lot of sense. However, what court in this land of air quotes sane people, because the SEALs are going to take them to court instantaneously. If they say, okay, you now owe us back pay on upwards of $2 million. Now, understand this. They have to say things that are provocative for these stories to matter to you, right? And to just people in general. I don't think they're going to come after these folks and get away with anything, but a lot of it is about what you've talked about a lot is control, right? They want to be able to control you and make it seem as though there is no other way. But understand this too. The government, I don't want to say it can do whatever it wants, but if you want to be an active part of it, it can mandate certain things to have you play ball, right? A perfect example is this. Let's say you got the opportunity to play on the New York Yankees. Okay.
No, but go ahead.
Right. Right. Yeah. Of course, I reference the Yankees when the Braves and the Astros are in the World Series.
Right.
Let's say you got the opportunity. Catman. Yeah. Don't throw the cat.
Making his appearance.
Right. So let's say you got the opportunity. It might be pretty cool if you got to play on a Major League Baseball team. Right. I mean, that'd be pretty interesting.
Sure.
To play on the Yankees at one point in time, I don't know if it's still a thing. I think it still is, but I'm not 100% sure. You couldn't have any facial hair.
Correct. That's correct.
Okay. So
yes.
To that end, you see some other teams where they have beards that are bigger than mine, hair that's down to their ass, right? And then they play baseball, and that's where they can play on. But the Yankees have consistently, for a very long time, been a very good team with a very large budget.
Right.
Do you
I think that was as long as George Steinbrenner was alive. I don't know that he's still alive or in charge or whatever. So
You need to get the cat because it's just tearing that bag up. But the point being is this. You're not mad at the Yankees for making them shave their mustache. Does that make sense? Like,
oh yeah, yeah.
But
the Yankees aren't defending the country I live in.
They are,
or the country you live in.
They are
sorry,
to
I
a
said that
degree
wrong.
because understand this. What is America's biggest export?
Trouble.
It's culture. That's
Okay.
our biggest and best export is culture, right? So to a degree, they are showing off to the world and being an example, and to a degree defending our culture, right? So, you know.
Okay.
Now, with that being said, I don't fully agree with all of the things that the government makes these soldiers, our proud men and women, which we very much appreciate your service. You know, they made it where you can't drink and can't smoke until you're 21, but you can definitely go die for your country when you're 17 with parental consent. Like, how fucking stupid is that? Sorry for the curse there, but
hello.
I mean, good Lord, people.
Right. Can't buy a gun till you're 21, but you can go learn all how to shoot them and stuff.
Right. Now, understand this. Being a part of the service does have its benefits, air quotes, some would say, because you get lifetime health care, benefits, stuff like that, if you do things right, and it can actually work to your benefit very much. But you do have to play by some rules.
My body, my choice.
Right. But it's also your choice to go into that military.
I'm sure they signed a contract. I'm sure they're under contract, some kind of contractual agreement. So anyway, I just thought it was an interesting story that do you really want to mess with those people? I mean,
America wants to mess with everybody. And the
absolutely
and the powers
they do.
that be want to mess with everybody all the time, you know?
Absolutely they do. But I think you need to pick your fights because at some time, and then when you start messing with their families, that's going to send somebody over the edge, I'm sure. And it's going to be there'll be some controlled accidents or gaffes or goodness or, whatever happens. We'll see. Whatever happens.
Well, I think there was either a active or ex Navy SEAL on Joe Rogan at one point in time. And they talked about the training and how they would maneuver inside of, let's say, a United States that lost its government. And it was amazing at just how focused and articulate and to the point and succinct this guy was, saying, no, we wouldn't, suffer any sort of stupid anarchy, shenanigans, stuff like that. It would be very controlled. Right. It would be very much like they would go in and establish order very quickly, because they know what kind of chaos can ensue if that sort of thing doesn't happen.
Right.
So, but I do agree. I'm sure it can work both ways. Right.
Right. I think you're going to see chaos with all the police and firemen and first responders and stuff.
Right. Well,
not wanting to get vaccinated. And
well, that's something that we can kind of segue into a little bit here. Something that we wanted to bring up was there are people out there who are government workers, i.e. police, firemen, first responders, that don't want to get the vaccine.
Correct.
And something that I feel is interesting, at least to me, is that for the past 2 years, mainstream media has said, well, they have to protest because, one, they're not being heard, and two, what else can they do? Okay, well, now, when you have government workers who are protesting something, who I'm assuming aren't causing as much damage as these previous protests.
Oh, I'm sure.
What's the problem? Now, granted, I don't think you should block a highway or block city streets or whatever, unless you have the right permits and stuff like that. But the spin, as it were, the air quotes, the spin, it's just kind of outrageous when you can look at buildings burning and Walgreens getting looted straight up,
Right.
and and Walmarts and stuff like that. And then you can see these folks are just kind of standing there. Now, granted, they are government employees to a degree. The policemen and the firefighters and stuff, and they don't want to get vaccinated. Well, it's like, okay. Now, do I think it would be wrong if the government would fire them because of that? Well, I think it is, and oftentimes it's a right to work, right? So if they don't want to follow the rules, air quotes, then yeah, they could be let go. But look at how much worse the city would be for that.
My body, my choice. What happened to that? What happened to the sovereignty of my body?
Well, you didn't say that to the doctors when they were giving me the vaccines to go to school.
No, I said his body, his choice.
Right. As I'm sitting there, sitting there crying or whatever.
When they grab that little fat leg and they go, cacao, and measles.
Smack me in the face and stuff. Yeah, all that shenanigans.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just think it's, we could go on and on about my body, my choice, because, that's could lead on into several other topics because it's your body and it's your choice. So,
well, we say my body, my choice. Well, that leads right into the abortion debate, right? My body, my choice.
But it's not your body. It's a separate entity. It's a separate human life. So it's not your body, your choice. You're making a choice for someone else. Just saying.
Now, understand this. I am on that particular side of the argument. However, I am going to be the provocateur just because that's kind of the point of this.
Okay.
And it is something where people will argue until they're blue in the face, just like myself right now, right? Where
you do look a little,
well, blue, I shouldn't have worn the red shirt. It's just coming through like I'm the Kool-Aid man. Like, oh yeah,
your cheeks are gathering.
That's it, just being the Kool-Aid man, bursting through brick walls and stuff, ruining houses. And they say, well, it might just be a clump of cells. Now, do you believe in abortion at all? Right? Like,
no.
Okay, so say the mother's going to die, or is it okay to let the mother die and then let the baby come out?
I'm not going to go down that road because I'm not a doctor, and I'm not going to go down. You're not going to trap me.
But that's the point. There's a lot of nuance.
You be careful. Yes, there is. Yes, there is.
Okay,
but I'm going to keep screaming, "My body, my choice," because I don't want to get. I don't want to get stuck. I don't want to get stuck.
Maybe the mom doesn't want to get stuck with the pregnancy that wasn't her fault.
We've gone way off the intended track.
Won't talk about me. Won't talk about. I start singing Toby Keith randomly to dissuade things back on track. Anywho, that's a crazy topic. We've talked about it a little bit before. We'll move on.
And that's got us in trouble before, so we need to be careful. You be careful.
Yeah, I mean, 100%. But anywho, beyond that, my body, my choice. I totally understand. And what is interesting is I'm vaccinated, and I totally agree. If you don't want to get it, like whomever out there, that it is your choice, right? It is a thing where, excuse me, you have the right to say yes or no. But understand this: that may or may not in the future come with consequences. Okay, it might come with a perfect example. I've been to 2 concerts since, like, in the past. Good Lord, actually, like only like a month and a half, which has been kind of nuts. But every time I've gone to a concert, what have they asked for? My ID to make sure I'm over 21. I mean, of course, I look like I'm 80, I'm sure. And then my vaccine card.
Mm-hmm.
So if I wasn't vaccinated,
you're going to turn me away?
You don't get a no-show.
Really?
Yes, because they turned away somebody in front of me who wasn't with their guardian at the time, so they'll turn you away just like that for whatever reason they want. So it's something where, am I going to be upset that if I go into a restaurant that's like the hip new thing, but they say, hey, you got to be vaccinated to get in?
What if the guy or girl in front of you had tickets to the concert? They've already bought their ticket.
They did already buy the tickets, yes.
And then you didn't let me in.
Correct.
You giving me my money back?
I don't know.
That could get very ugly at the gate.
It could.
I mean, not that they're not going to get. I'm not asking for my money back right this second, but because I know they bought them online and all that.
I'm sure later on they would give you your money back. I mean, unless it just said no refunds wherever they bought the tickets at. But
could be.
Yeah, they straight up were like, "Nope, see you. You're not with the right people. You don't have your actual parent or guardian here." And then they had to be turned away.
Wow. I think it's pretty cool that they've loaded up the baseball stadiums, Houston, Minute Maid Park, and I don't know, what is it, SunTrust Park in Atlanta. I don't know the name of the new park down in Atlanta where they play, but yeah. And what's really hilarious is, the man upstairs has a sense of humor because he let them take the All-Star game away from Atlanta. Remember when they took the All-Star baseball game away from Atlanta? Well, now the Atlanta Braves are bringing the World Series back to play several games. It's like that's like the double barrel middle finger. It's like yeah, we got you now because all the concessions and all the ticket sales and all the they lost $100.
But that is pretty interesting.
They lost $100 million by them moving the small businesses in the area. They said lost $100 million roughly. Was an approximate amount by moving the All-Star game to a different city. And now it's just, oh man, that's just flipping them off going, we're bringing all these people back and we're going to play. It could go the whole 7 games and, they're going to play in Houston tonight and then they skip a day and we're going to have 2 games in Atlanta. And I think that's super cool that they did that, and now it's bringing all that business back to those people.
Do you think that
ain't nothing you can do about it? Major League Baseball.
Do you think that was a part of the Braves' success? Was trying to get F you to the powers that be there?
Could have very well been the motivation. By you and I growing up in Tennessee, we didn't have a professional team. St. Louis or Cincinnati or Atlanta, they were all pretty much 4 or 5 hours away. So we didn't have really a pro team in baseball to, to root for. So, Atlanta was the closest. They were, 4 hours away.
Yeah, about 4.5.
Yeah, Cincinnati's 5.5, 6, and then St. Louis is like 6. So, everybody had to pick whoever they wanted to lean on. I personally picked the University of Memphis, who's 4-3 in the football league right now. So,
how wonderful!
What is wonderful is Tennessee got beat, trounced by Alabama this past Saturday.
I have no doubt. Yeah, it was humorous to me. Our boss said, because there are several of us in the office who are sick, but luckily working from home, you know what we can do? We can work when we're sick because we're not affecting everyone else. And our boss is a huge
They've got that figured out, don't they?
And something that was humorous is they said, Tennesseans, we can deal with weather or something like that, and we're terrible at football. And of course, that was a dig at the Vol and Alabama game because they very much enjoy the Alabama Football League. So I thought that was kind of interesting. But
that was very cool. But it's all college football. The stadiums are full. People are getting back out there. They're realizing that Fauci's a liar on multiple levels.
That was something that was interesting. There was Travis Tritt on Crowder this past week or week before, and he's doing concerts, right? They're not crazy big venues, but he is doing enough to where he's moving around. And they said they had to wait to see about the tour and stuff, and they said, okay, look at all the stadiums. They're all filling up. There's no way that they're going to get onto us about touring when places like this, I mean, they're elbow to elbow. They're spitting in people's faces.
Right. And the Titan Stadium's got 70,000 people in it on Sunday.
Oh,
right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sure. Right. Well, it's
kind of wild.
It's a government. Well, I saw where he said he wouldn't play any place that had a vaccine mandate. I thought that was the quote that he had. He said if they got a vaccine mandate,
places, that are like that.
Yeah.
I won't say several places. There are several folks who are doing that now, kind of like, hey, take your stand this way or that way. One of the comedians on the Crowder show does the same thing. He's not going to do his stand-up act anywhere that requires a mandate to get in. And I mean, hey, to each their own, man. Like, there are places that might be bigger, smaller, I don't know, might be the same size, where you can go and there's no mandates. And it's like, hey, cool.
Right.
Some are there, some are not. And it's like, it is what it is.
Right. Did you see where Dan Bongino took a stand up against Cumulus Media or Cumulus Communications? He's the guy they put in Rush Limbaugh's spot 12 to 3 every day on the radio.
Right. But I don't know what Cumulus Media is.
It's a huge radio organization that spans across the
right. You're talking about where he said they're not going to have the vaccine mandates if you want me on your program. Basically
that's right. Well, guess what? He ain't on there no more.
Hey, it is what it is, and it's a scenario where does that make him lose any money, or does that make anybody under him lose any money or opportunities? Like, that's one thing. I was watching a series on FX about, it's called Dave. That's just what it's called. It is about the rapper Lil Dicky, who is a white Jewish rapper. Like the next Eminem, basically, hilariously enough. Right. At least that's what he thinks he is. And he had the opportunity to go onto a syndicated radio show and perform his latest hit, which was just called Prison, I believe. It was a wild rap. And of course, it takes you through the whole rap in the episode, and it's all visualized. And everybody listens to it, and they're like, "You're out of your mind! Like, this is absolutely crazy." And he said, "Well, what we'll do is this: we'll pull a Bohemian Rhapsody. They'll play the rap for the first time live, and it will be air quotes leaked out." Well, Lil Dicky had an opportunity to do that, but then again, he had to think about his manager, who was his best friend at the time, his crew. Right, because none of them were air quotes as successful as him, and he ended up not doing it. He had to make that choice in the moment, and he did great. Right, like he did really well instead, but it was something where he had to make that choice. Where Dan Bongino is making this choice, but is he understanding what's really happening? Right.
Well, I'm sure he is. He's a pretty savvy business guy, and he's got. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna affect him as much as everybody thinks it is. But what's funny is the pundits out there were reporting that he's been vaccinated because he had lymphoma, and he's got a compromised immune system, so he's been vaccinated. Well, now they're saying he's a hypocrite because he's been vaccinated, but he's against a vaccine mandate. Well. They didn't force him to get one. He got one because of his immune system and his health issues. So anyway, that's just you fall into Rush Limbaugh's spot, the great one, and it's iconic. And then you let it go. But, speaking of letting go, next Tuesday is Election Day, November the 3rd.
Now, you said that's election day, but is that election day for y'all or election day for up here? You said that's for governors and stuff like that?
It's election day in the United States for several, I think it's at a state level and down, like governors.
The regular gubernatorial. Who in the world came up with these things?
Say that 3 times fast. Yeah. Okay.
Gunga la gunga.
You got that going for you.
Yeah, which is nice. So like you said, the gubernatorial race, i.e. governors and lower, like things on a state level, nothing that has to do with national politics.
Could be mayors and dog catchers or chiefs of police. Who knows? So, I mean, I don't even know if they're mayors or whatever, but there's being several held across the country, and 2 that I've had my eye on was Virginia and New Jersey. I've been just kind of watching them because if they can flip those to red states, that's going to be that could have resulted in a wave across the country of, hey, this, we can change this.
Yeah,
We
I'm
can
seeing
change this.
here lieutenant gubernatorial, obvious like governorships and stuff like that, mayors, attorney generals, other legislative. So yes, stuff like that. Nothing radical.
Nothing earth shaking.
Yeah.
How they could really.
But now, granted, you got to look at it like this. If you have different gubernatorial people or governors and attorney generals and stuff like that, a lot of policy can change, right? Based on, at least on a state level, which can kind of change the face of what voter base is, can kind of, it can actually affect a lot. So it is interesting to think, how much will this affect that, but it's, it can be kind of wild, and I cannot wait to see what Three Ring Circus is going to be like in 2024. Like, I just can't wait for it.
Well, and for instance, you have a Republican governor in Tennessee, but you have a Democratic mayor in Nashville and a Democratic mayor in Memphis. Now, I don't know about Knoxville, Chattanooga, but those cities are just all screwed up. Nashville, I mean, really, you're going to close down Broadway and put all them people out of business? That's old news. That's a year and a half ago news. Right. But that's what you get when you have Republican, Democrat, and that kind of stuff. So,
well, yeah, but you also have Nashville as one of the largest places to come in the country, right? In terms of moving here, traveling here, and all that. Like, it still is that they're still moving here. The housing market is still crazy and all that. So,
because you have a Republican governor and the state's open, you have some, I don't know what the word is I'm looking for. You have some restrictions that come out, that your mayor is putting on, but overall your governor's going, come on. Well, did you see where Smith and Wesson moved out of the Northeast and opened up a place in Tennessee? The gun manufacturers.
That's kind of cool.
That's the second one. Beretta was the first one to come here several years ago, and now Smith and Wesson has come because of the Tennessee.
A lot of businesses are moving to the South because there's, I would say, less regulations on it, or less taxes and stuff like that.
And then you have your Facebook $800 million data collection center in Gallatin, Tennessee.
Yeah, which is what we want, right? We want Facebook collecting more of our data, right?
Yes, we do, man. They're listening to me right now on my telephone, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, so, and they're thinking, man, this is really boring, and we're like, hey, we know. Shut up.
Yeah, let me hold on a second. Kiss my ass. There you go. That's right. I'll show them.
Right. Yeah. As they go blink, 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 as even a blip on the radar to them. Yeah, for sure.
I have to tell you this. I was watching YouTube the other day, and I was watching Fox and Friends. Okay, and I'm watching along, and they're fixing to do a story, and I don't remember what it was, but it was pretty intense story, and it was going to get into some specifics, and all of a sudden it switched off to some guy playing pool. I mean, and it's showing this guy shooting a game of pool on the channel that I'm watching. And this is like the third time that's happened in a week, where I'm watching a story that I'm interested in, and it's intense, and it's coming to a head, and it just clicks off and goes to this guy shooting pool, and it stays on the guy shooting pool until the time comes up that the story's over with, and then it switches to another story. It's the most incredible shit I've ever seen in my life.
Well,
that they can control that, and
when that happens, you should forward that video to me, like share it, right, and then say, hey, watch this video, and I'll say, okay, and then I can look and see, oh yeah, this happens, to all of us, to everybody. That's just kind of what's happening. Or is it something where something a little bit suspicious is happening?
I'm like, holy smoke, man. It'll be like 7 or 7:30 in the morning when I'm watching Fox and Friends, and they'll go to a story or I'll be watching, something on YouTube, and it just cuts off and just goes to this pool shooting. And I'm like,
well,
what do you,
if it does cut off, then you need to see, okay, is it cutting off like for real? Like what's actually happening? Are we hitting the wrong button? Is the video edited?
I haven't touched anything. I'm just sitting there watching.
Yeah, yes, I understand that. However,
and then I'm punching buttons trying to get something to happen. And it's like, no, it's like locked in dead. And it's like, so I just shut the TV off.
Wonderful.
So I shouldn't be watching that much TV anyway. So.
Well, like I said, the next time you see something like that, shoot that over to me so I can see if the same thing occurs on my side. And if it does, then then it's the video has potentially been edited.
Mm-hmm.
So either Facebook may not have liked the message.
YouTube.
Sorry. Well,
Screw
whatever superpower you want to talk about.
Yeah. Okay.
So if YouTube did not like the message, then it may have told the Fox and Friends, air quotes. I don't know if this is where this is coming from. It might be something else being done and whatnot. However, it's like, okay, we have to now edit, just like we've had to do before in the past for our music, either cut something out or put something else over it.
Right.
And then have our video be like that. So if that's what's going down, then, hey, maybe the video is just like that. And YouTube said, no, you're not going to have this sort of like.
Well, they do that. They do that on a regular basis, but they always flash up a picture of Trump. Like remember when they had the 15,000 Haitians under the Del Rio Bridge?
Yeah.
Well, Fox News helicopter was up in the air and they said, we're going to show you footage live from Del Rio. Boom. Up comes a picture of Trump and you don't get that footage. They're talking to you like you're seeing the footage, but you're not seeing the footage. You're seeing a picture of Trump.
Right.
And it's like, what happened to the helicopter? And the camera in the helicopter showing me the footage. They're not going to show you that. It's such control. And I wish Joe Biden would quit telling the story about the Amtrak conductor that died 10 years before the story he made up. He's such a fucking liar, man. It's incredible.
I don't
know
that story.
He's told this Amtrak story about how many miles he's flown on Air Force planes and this conductor supposedly is telling him how many miles he traveled on Amtrak. And he tells this story and it's a fucking lie. It's a lie because the guy retired years before that Joe said this shit happened. And then he's been dead for 10 or 12 years. And Joe said, yeah, in 2001, the conductor came up and said, Joey, baby, the guy had been dead for 10 years when he said the guy came up and started talking to him. He's such a liar. It's incredible. It's just incredible. And the thing about it is, and I don't understand this, I don't know what they did to the guy that was in the chambers. Do you remember the guy when Obama was speaking and the guy stood up and said, liar? He was doing like a State of the Union or something. And the guy stood up in the auditorium and just screamed out, liar.
There are also those who claim that our reform efforts would ensure illegal immigrants. This too is false. The reforms I'm proposing would not apply to those who are here illegally. It's not true. And one more misunderstanding I want to clear up. Under our plan, no federal dollars will be used to fund abortions, and federal conscience laws will remain in place. Now,
I don't know why people aren't doing that now. Now I don't know if they took the guy out and shot him or whatever, but I mean, at least he had ass enough to stand up and call Barack a liar when he knew he was lying. That's all they do is lie. All of them. Lie, 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 lie. Yeah, I think
one of the issues we're running into here is, like, you don't normally get on to Mar if she's wrong about something because she's 92. Well, Joe Biden is almost 80, right? So he's basically knocking on heaven's door. And it's a scenario where he's just being a face, right? Being the old white man face that people are more accustomed to in the presidential spot, right? And
give him a new story.
Dude,
I mean,
it's
the people
hard to
that
learn
write
something new at 78, man. I mean, shit. You know, I gave you a new iPad and you said this thing's taking me to the moon, man. And it's like, well, you know.
Breakfast of Champions, Sprite in a short bottle.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah,
We're not, hey,
thanks.
put the damn Sprite bottle away until they want to sponsor the Life in General podcast with Tom and Jaye. They can get out. But it's a scenario that, now, I'm not going to name any names.
Uh-oh, here we go.
Okay, but there are certain people, who tell the same story a few times. And people around them don't get uppity with them and say, I've heard that before.
You be careful.
No, you be careful. And even if some parts are embellished or whatever, it's like, okay, cool. You know, we get to hear a story and it's super fun. Well, that's what's going on with Biden, right? Like, the man is a broken record who's saying just the same thing over and over and over again because he can't say anything real, and his points or his approval rating is already going down the drain, just like every other president before him. I mean, every president, it's the same stuff all the time, man. Like,
well, I can't wait till 2022 to see how the House and Senate turn out. And then when 2024 comes, if we ever make it that far, I hope Trump doesn't run.
I think he will, just because
now,
dude's wild, I don't know.
Well, I was a Trump supporter, kinda. I thought he was an arrogant prick, but he did do a lot of good. But the distractions around him, you know, that's like Peanuts, you know, with the ball and the cloud of dust, and the ball comes flying out, and the little cloud of dust goes over here, and the ball comes out, little cloud of. That's the way it was with him. There was always some kind of controversy, bullshit, made up controversy surrounding him that I don't know how the guy put up with it for 4 years or how he got anything done.
Dude was on some drugs, man. Like, that's the only way that dude, he was on too much cafefe, you know?
Well, and he's in his late 70s. He's no spring chicken. Let's get somebody young in there. Yeah. You know, let's get a Ron DeSantis from Florida, you know, that's in his probably 40s or something. You know, I mean, come on, man. Come on, man.
Yeah, come on, man. When or why do we pick people who are in their freaking 70s to run the country?
Well, Joe ain't running. Joe's not running it. He's like a puppet. You know, he's yeah.
Then
that town hall meeting. Did you see the town hall meeting where he was standing on the stage with both? Do the CNN town hall, and he was locked in with both. They said, "What's he? Rock'em sock'em robot or whatever?" You know, it's like he's standing there like this, like he wants to beat up Anderson Cooper, and they're like, "What's wrong with this dude, man?" You know, golly.
Okay. I'm not gonna lie. I have been in situations where I've been standing there with clenched fists, and I'm making sure I either don't vomit or shit my pants. So the dude may have had some issues either with shitting his pants or vomiting all over the stage, man. So just, you know, if someone's sitting there and they're kind of rigid, and they're like not saying anything, like, yep,
okay,
yep. So hey,
okay, all right, that's one way of doing it.
Yeah. Or like he said, what are we doing here? You know, that's the thing. So leave it alone.
I think speaking of what are we doing here, you need to lower your expectations and quit spending so much money.
You talking about?
You know, that's what they're talking about, inflation.
Oh,
you
nice.
as Americans, you need to lower your expectations. Just because you're not able to get shit for Christmas, you don't need to, you know, get all jacked up. And
my expectations
are
about as low as they can be, my friend.
You spend too much money as it is anyway. I mean, you people with
100%.
No, I'm talking to everything as a whole, everybody as a whole. You know, that's what the Democrats are saying now is lower your expectations, sit in the corner and keep your mouth shut. You know, stop spending money. Don't worry that premium gas in California is $8 a gallon. Yeah, I'll do it for you. Yes.
Sorry, it doesn't pick up on your end.
Okay, $8 a gallon. Hey,
Yeah.
Mo.
Well, I think it was in Great Britain. I think it was $7 for petrol. So,
well, it was. They showed a pump the other day. It was $7.59 for regular unleaded in California. I mean, why would you stay? Why in the world would you stay?
just like one of the reasons why somebody would move down to a place where the weather never changes. I mean, like
hey, come on, man.
Hey, I mean,
Well,
I'm just saying, I do have family in California. You know,
I get 12 hours of daylight every day. I get 75 degrees every day.
They get the same amount of weather. It's the same all the time. It is perfect, and it's sunny, beaches, whatever. And it for a lot of them, not all California.
You're talking about in California. I was going to say they're getting hammered by a storm coming in right now, just like the East Coast is getting hammered by the nor'easterner that's dropping a lot of water out there. You know what I found to be funny is, and Patricia and I talked about this, was when we ride down the road, these guys set controlled burn fires. Yeah. If they want to burn out a section or flatlands, and hey, it hadn't rained here since February. I think it rained one day overnight just for a little while, but by the next morning it was dried up because it's the ground soaked it up so quick. Yeah. They set controlled burn fires and burn acreage here, but it doesn't get out of control. Now nobody's watching it. The fire department's not there with a hose. They just light stuff on fire and let it burn. And I think it's pretty different in California, where half of the state of California is on fire and burning up houses and all this. And they've got controlled burns down here, and everything is so dry down here, but it doesn't burn houses down, and it burns what they want it to burn. And that's it's just interesting. And it'll burn for 2 or 3 days. You'll see it smoldering for 2 or 3 days. Now, granted, every now and then stuff gets out of control, and you'll see it starts going towards a wooden fence or going towards a house, and they'll call the fire department. They'll come out there, but very, very rarely. And we've watched stuff burn for 3 or 4 days, and it just smolders and burns, but it just moves along, burning this area up. I guess that they can just clean it all out once they burn it up. But
something that is interesting to me from that angle, they also probably aren't like showing you that on the news all the time. So if
we don't even get the news down here.
That's my point. Is you may see from your YouTube, Facebook, whatever, California wildfires wreaking havoc, blah, blah, blah. If there were 10 times the amount of wildfires and damage and all that stuff in Ecuador, you're not going to see it. It's just not going to be reported on, right? You might have children, elderly, people getting lit up, man, like Christmas trees. And you're just not going to see it because there's not the same kind of coverage.
Well, the coverage we're getting right now on fires is where they've set fires across the roads in Guayaquil and Quito and Cuenca, some major cities, because they're protesting
wonderful.
The price of gas. Remember, we've talked about this. Gas has gone up like $1. Now it's at 250.2. Now I haven't checked it in the last 3 or 4 days, but yeah, $2.50 a gallon down here. When a year ago it was $1.58.
Hey man,
so it's gone up.
What is hilarious is that up here in America, they're not going to protest gas prices even if it goes up $3 a gallon.
Oh, I understand.
But down in Ecuador, they'll say, "Hold up,
that's a lot of money.
Gas is going up by $1. What's up?
That's a lot of money down here.
It's a lot of money up here too for people making minimum wage or $10 an hour or whatever.
They're not saying nothing about it. They're not doing anything about it. They sheepishly stick that handle in the pump and
whenever we do something about
I'm going to get $5.
I'm
going to get $5 worth of gas.
It's covered on the media in such a negative way. that will say,
Well-
"Oh, I'm going to protest the price of gas." If somebody did that up here, we would say, "What are you, an idiot? Like, gas is going to fluctuate. It's going to be up and down based on the market economics." And
It
blah,
doesn't
blah, blah,
have
blah,
to
blah.
be. It doesn't have to be.
Oh, well, there you go.
Before the beginning of this year, we were energy independent. We had the Keystone Pipeline. We were pumping out of Alaska. We were pumping out of Texas, Oklahoma, Montana. We were pumping out of there, which are fuel enriched areas, and they shut all that down. And now we're going, OPEC. Could y'all could you make a little bit more fuel, please? And they're going, no, and raise the price of a barrel of oil again. Get out of here with that shit, man.
You had on here inflation and supply chain. I got a report today from one of our salesmen at work. There is, from what I saw, I think $20 billion worth of goods on container ships stuck in LA right now.
And again, and I said it last week, and I'll say it again. Why won't they go to Florida or Texas? Why won't they use the ports in Florida or Texas?
Well, one of the things you got to look at too, one, are those ports capable of taking on the super ships? Like, are they actually dug out correctly and all that? And then two, you're going to have the same problem whatever port you go to, because it's a shortage in chassis, drivers, and just manpower in general. It's not that like, oh, this port has more of that. No, it doesn't.
But you got more options. If you had more options instead of locking in on Long Beach or LA, we're going to make LA run 24/7. You ain't been running LA 24/7?
No.
That's why your ass is behind. It's because you hadn't been running 24/7.
No, it's
a
very nuanced thing there, Tom.
Yeah. Okay. Savannah, Georgia, you can drop down to Jacksonville and get the same. I've been at the Jacksonville port. It operates. I mean, it takes the big ships.
Understand this too. You want them to go through the Panama Canal or go under Cape Canaveral to get over here. A lot of ships are coming from China.
I know, but the ones that are sitting outside of Savannah, Georgia, that they say, we can't handle it, are the ones, anything on the East Coast. Did you see the map?
But they're not on the East Coast, man.
Did you see the map of the world and it showed where 200,000 of the ships were sitting?
I think somebody showed me something very similar to that. But
Right.
But that's the thing. China to LA, man, like that's where they're going. Do you want another Suez Canal debacle where one ship
if that's what it takes? If that's what it takes to get the stuff off the boats.
But no, that would cause an even greater problem.
But
I'm telling you, man.
Our shelves are full down here. We've got toys running out the Santa bag, and life is good.
Well,
except for the fuel, and we're running electric, so we don't care. How about that?
That's something to consider as well. Like, I haven't saw an empty shelf up here.
Okay.
I mean, good. That's a beautiful thing. I was going to say, I need to see empty shelves so that I won't buy as much shit, lose a little bit of weight, things like that. But it's something where, we haven't gone without. That's going to be a very rare thing.
That's you Americans. Y'all want everything yesterday and spending all that money and give me this and give me that. Yeah, you need to lower your expectations. Stop spending.
I would love to read the article or watch the video of wherever you saw somebody say, lower your expectations. It's like, what expectations am I lowering?
I'll look for it and send it to you.
Yeah. Like, comment, and subscribe below. What are your expectations?
Smash the like button.
Do you need to lower your expectations? Like, what are your plans for Thanksgiving and Christmas and all that stuff? Do we need to lower our expectations? I mean, there were people who I knew that would go out sicker than a dog to a family gathering because they didn't want to lower their expectations. So it is what it is, man. People want normalcy, right? They don't want to be messed with. And just like you said, until it actually comes and tickles their proverbial taint at their dinner table, they aren't going to mess with it.
Are you going to a Halloween party? Changing the subject.
If I feel better, I very well may.
Okay.
Because one thing I don't want to do is spread the proverbial wealth of head cold
Cooties.
stuff. Yeah,
Cooties.
cooties.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if I don't feel well, hey, it's all good, man. It wouldn't be the first thing that I've not been able to go to and whatnot. But we'll see. Like I'm feeling pretty decent right now, and we'll see in the next couple of days and whatnot. I have been told to start drinking whiskey to alleviate my ills because alcohol is a blood thinner, and that'll help drain mucus with the capillaries being smaller, which I thought was hilarious. That's some Tennessee medicine.
I was going to say, is that a Tennessee remedy there? Is that Tennessee?
Hey, a hot toddy will soothe the soul,
I was talking to Bo today at lunch, and I mentioned meeting 3. He said, "What the hell is that?" I said, "Where are you from?" He said, "Canada." I said, "You've never heard of the word? You've never heard the phrase meeting 3?"
Yeah,
he
meeting
said,
3.
Never in my life." So there I was explaining to him what a meeting 3 was, and he was like,
"Wonderful,
really?" Yeah. That was my geographic or scientific or environmental lesson for the day. I don't know which category that falls in. Home economics.
Hey, I was going to say geopolitical, something like that.
Yeah, home ec or something. Trying to explain the meeting 3.
Yes, indeed, a meeting 3, as it were.
Yeah,
something that we like down in the South, but
that's right.
Also, however, if you ever offer a Northerner tea, they're going to go into a diabetic coma because you are giving them sugar water with a little bit of caffeine in it, just to make sure that it's not just sugar water.
Right. He got a coffee today.
Oh, there you go.
And they serve it with it's a half a cup of hot water.
Right.
And then they had the coffee over here in another side cup. It looked like 10W40 motor oil.
Oh.
And he poured it in. He doesn't use cream or sugar, and he poured it in that water and stirred it into that water. And I was holy smoke. I wonder what would happen if you just drank the little cup,
Well,
go to the moon.
My assumption is it would be something akin to like espresso, because they have something very similar to that with Vietnamese coffee, which is amazing.
Right.
They have a very strong coffee with condensed milk, and it is delicious. Get that every time I go to get some pho, get some Vietnamese noodles. It is absolutely wonderful.
You can get the water, hot water, or warm milk here.
Right.
That's the 2 ways they serve it here.
Now understand this: condensed milk, it is not warm milk. It is like a gooey, sugary substance, almost
like carnation was. It's almost like a pudding.
Yeah.
Or like a yogurt or something.
Right. Very good stuff.
Speaking of milk, we the dogs were going nuts day before yesterday, so we went out on the balcony and there was like 25 goats.
Oh, there you go.
Right on the other side of the wall, just making their way through, just aimlessly walking through, and there's one guy herding them.
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like, holy smoke.
I was going to say, do they make their goats drink the seawater? That's not good for everybody.
I don't know, but he took them. He made a left with no signal, and he went on up the pathway, up the road, and it's like, okay. Some of them, it's funny because some of the goats went around on the road that way. I guess we'll meet you around here.
Yeah.
And the other ones went up through the yard and up through the sidewalk and between the trees and stuff. The dogs were out of their minds. So,
well, I don't know. It's kind of wild, but yeah, the last little thing we'll say on the supply chain stuff, it's trending up in terms of days at sea that vessels are stuck. Like 13 days now,
right,
is the norm of when you're berthed or when you're you're not docked, but you're out there at anchor, and it's just getting worse. And it's something where we're supposed to see an increase in productivity, but the problem is if you're still down drivers and you're still down manpower and chassis and all this, what are you doing? Unless you have more hands on deck, no pun intended, then you're just going to be screwed. Like, you're not going to have the people to do it. And it is something where one of the things we're looking at is, think about this. Something that I don't think many people have thought of. Let's say they go to 24/7 operations. Okay, well, a lot of the times, let's say you had a facility like American Flags R Us, right? And your normal shipping and receiving hours are 8 to 5.
Okay.
Well, now that they're going 24/7 in California, sorry, we need to take your stuff out at 8 p.m.
Okay.
Can you ship and receive at 8 p.m. if your normal shipping hours are 8 to 5? No.
I'll have to adjust.
Right. So that means all of the businesses surrounding the shipping business, right? I think it was Walmart, XYZ company. They're all going to expand their operating hours to try to fit into this new model. But what about the places that can't? Are they going to have to then start paying storage and demurrage for places or for
containers they can't get to?
Correct. Or ones that say, okay, we got to take Tom's Flags R Us container. It's his time to move. We got to put it over here at an easier to get to facility that's closer to him. Well, now he's got to start paying storage over there. It's something that I just thought was wild because not everybody is a Walmart or an Amazon or a this or a that, and they can't make those changes. So it'd be pretty cool to see how all that shakes out in terms of what can people get behind, what they can't. How are the unions going to deal with that? Because remember, you have the unions on the East Coast and the West Coast for the ship workers, the dock workers. And I can't wait to see the fallout that's going to come from that, because one of the things that we forget a lot, especially here in the 21st century, is how much power the worker has. I mean, they just have a lot, but they don't know it all the time.
Right.
And I'm not saying that we're trying to separate the workers from the means of production and the capital and all that, like Karl Marx. I'm not saying that. But we have to understand that strikes are very important and powerful tools. And to speak with the powers that be, you got to come at them at once. Well, what's that going to do when they start doing that in the global supply chain? Because you have
Catman.
cat over there
Making a second appearance.
Because you have cat's derailing me. Because you have folks up in like the rail yards and the rails up in Canada that strike just like that. They don't care. They'll put you out of commission, man.
Right.
And it's absolutely wild. So I know the cat's back up there. What's the cat doing?
It's in the drawer.
Wonderful. You'll have to bring the cat back up and tell us what its name is so we can have a special guest appearance there.
It's in the drawer. In the back of the drawer now.
Oh, nice. Wonderful. Well, it's all good. But is there anything else you would like to talk about there, good sir? We have gone over some wild topics there. Got derailed. Toby Keith brought us back online there a little bit.
That's right.
So, how do you like me now, as they say?
That's correct.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else that you want to get on this week, we can save it for next week. Thank you all so very much for watching the Life in General podcast with Tom and Jay. If there's any discussion topics that you would like for us to talk about, please let us know down below in the comments. If there is a time when you would like to come on the show and discuss with us this, that, and the other, we'd be more than happy to bring you on. And then we will catch you all in the next episode.
Crybaby. See you.
Nice.